What's your date of birth, Mr. Jones?
February 23rd.
So you were born in Utica,
Yeah,
and did you go to high school there?
I did.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
Do you remember December 7th, 1941, the bombing of Pearl Harbor?
I sure do.
What do you remember about it?
What a disaster. I was drafted.
Fort Devens in Massachusetts.
I was there for a while.
Training you to do
I was a radio operator,
Morse code?
Morse code.
Was that difficult?
No, once you got into it, it was easy.
And Fort Monmouth in New Jersey for special radio school. Is that where you learned your operating, Fort Monmouth?
I think largely to get started.
It said here you would listen to Morse code and decode the messages at an average rate of 25 words a minute.
Something like that.
You were involved in the Pacific as a technician, third grade. You were involved in the invasion in the Philippine Islands.
That's true.
What's that like?
Well, it was pretty wild for a while, but calmed down after a couple of weeks. Well, an awful lot of air attacks. Every night we were bombed.
In rapid tempo, with new amphibious landings speeding the advance, General MacArthur's forces drive on in the campaign for Luzon, key island of the Philippines. The 6th Army strikes south. The 8th United States Army strikes from the sea. First landing force, striking in Lingayen Gulf, drove rapidly toward Manila. At Subic Bay, another landing. South of the city, still another. And then on to Manila, capital of the Philippines.
Remember kamikaze pilots, kamikazes?
Yes, but I don't remember seeing them in action. Oh, yeah, we were all scared.
Yeah.
Well, I had a real good friend. His name was Liberato Datun. I don't remember just how you spelled it, but we spent a lot of time together. I think we did a little fishing and maybe just a little touring in the area.
You remember that the skirts the women wore were made of many palm tree leaves woven together. And do you remember the women on the island?
Somewhat. They used to try to get them to take off their clothes, and those skirts were multiple actually, so that they had several on. They finally got down to the last one.
And didn't get them off, huh?
Didn't take them off, no. The women were pretty modest.
Also says here that you sang a lot of songs. Were you a singer?
I thought I was for a while, but I learned I wasn't. There was a lot of air action, almost continuously, especially at night.
So when you were on the island, that was part of your job, was just working on clearing the area for an airstrip.
We were in the area, and we were half air and half land, so that we had bulldozers and large equipment. And half of us did the light work.
And that was you.
That was me.
When you were on the Philippines, were you worried at all about disease, mosquitoes, yellow fever, that stuff?
A little, but of course we were taking medicine to ward off the worst of it. And I guess it worked pretty well. We did have a lot of storms. They were pretty drastic.
You ever get seasick?
Oh yes. Very easy.
Did you have to go up on deck when you got seasick, or were you able to stay underneath?
Well, we used to try to make it on the deck, but sometimes you couldn't.
Talk about your monkey.
You remember that?
I think I bought it from one of the Filipinos. We had a lot of fun with it.
Did you bring it back to base?
Oh yes. Kept it right there in the tent.
San Francisco, the International News Service. FCC quotes Domai saying Japan accepts Allied terms. Repeating this bulletin, dated San Francisco, the Federal Communication Commission quotes Domai saying Japan accepts Allied terms.
We were just so happy that it was over with. We didn't think much else.
What was your reunion like when you got a chance to meet everybody?
Well, of course, we were extremely happy, and we're sorry for what we missed, but it worked out well.
Then when you came back from the war, what did you do, Mr. Jones?
I think the first thing was to get to work.
Was it hard to get a job?
Well, I was very fortunate in that my father worked at the Savage Yard, and he used his influence to get me started. So I was a toolmaker for the Savage for quite a few years.
What did the Savage Arms do?
They make guns, all sizes.
So when the war ended, did that affect their production?
It sure did. They went to zero pretty quick.
Kind of what it all meant?
Well, of course, the bombing by the Japanese was terrific, and we didn't see too much else but that. Didn't get shot at by the ships. Of course, we weren't that close to the water. But you knew there was a lot going on that you weren't part of.
Today, as you look at things, do you feel a sense of pride in that?
I do.
Would you do it all over again?
I'd prefer not to. Don't want any part of war. Well, you lose your independence mainly. I was fortunate in that it wasn't in too many battle areas.
Well, thank you. We salute you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.